yo, it's your boy Ancient Albatross behind the scenes here. But we got the Cypher Unlimited crew of Spigs18 or Anthony. And just as a quick reminder before we get into things here, if you haven't already, be sure to follow us here on Twitch and subscribe to us over on YouTube. It's a great help for our channel. We really appreciate all the support we've gotten so far. And as another quick reminder, Numenera Day is coming on Thursday, the day after tomorrow. So definitely, if you're interested in signing up to play a game, check out that link right there. It'll give you all the instructions on how to sign up for a game. There are still seats available. And yeah, we're definitely looking to have a good time on Thursday for Numenera Day, so check it out. And without further ado, Anthony, what are we doing here tonight?
Oh, we're going to have a great show here tonight. Just to touch back on Numenera Day, there's only 2 days left to sign, y'all. And you guys requested a Euro time zone shift, and we created one. So now we need bodies to volunteer to play. So please, if you're in that Euro time zone and you want to get in a game and try out Numenera, Thursday is the perfect time to do that. And any help you could give us in that front would be greatly appreciated. But today we got Rick Hines and Erik Frankhouse from Storytellers Forge. You know, I'll do a quick bio of Rick. I think everyone here knows who Erik is, but and nobody really freaking cares. So,
wow, that bus just goes backed up instantly. All right, whatever devil's advocate you got to play.
We're already there.
Rick is an author, game designer, co-founder of Storytellers Forge. Storytellers Forge is an indie RPG role-playing game company studio designed to focus on crafting compelling narratives. They have several novels, settings, books published already, mostly for 5e, but now they're bringing a fan favorite adventure and setting to the Shadowdark RPG called the Black Ballad Second Chances. Welcome, guys. And I kid, Erik. Erik is a multi-winner, INGM winner, cartographer, game designer, streamer, podcaster, and an all-around asshole and a friend of the channel. We love you, Erik. Guys, welcome to the CEU.
Well, thanks, man. You even put him in the right order.
Yeah.
Right. I'm glad that they got the particular asshole part right in there.
Yeah, right. Yeah, 100%.
Your opinions just go like right there, right?
Yeah.
That's the foundation of our friendship too. So.
Hey, look, it's earned. It's an earned title for and against the friends and family around me. But
so, you know, before we even get into for what you guys are here to promote, right? Tell us a little bit about yourselves and tell us your experience in tabletop RPGs. I think that's a good place to start.
Rick, I've been here so many times. I think you should start this.
All right. So many, many moons ago, there was a game system called Vampire the Masquerade that everybody loved and played. And all of us goth kids in the 90s would play rock, paper, scissors on Riverwalks. And they had a system called Wraith the Oblivion that I fell in love with. And so I started submitting articles and things to Wraith the Oblivion. I ended up getting picked up and doing some freelance writing for Wraith. But then in 2017, I won an award for a post-apocalyptic novel series with Geek and Sundry and Nerdist. Nice. And that was my 7th Age novel series, like sarcastic urban fantasy. And I was working for Geek and Sundry when Rob Manuel and Terry Licoro, who were the chief editors of Geek and Sundry, literally asked every writer that they had, does anybody here play anything else but D&D? And I was the only person to be like, yes, I play every other game system but D&D. I've been a forever GM for years. And next thing you know, I'm writing the GM tips. And I'm, kind of working on that like blog series about empowering storytellers, things like that. And we had done that for a few years. I had been writing in the background for other studios, doing like the freelance writing tour that most of us do when you're a writer behind the keyboard in the Midwest. And I've written for a ton of other studios. And we published a campaign. Our first campaign that me and Pat Edwards and Courtney Penny wrote was the Red Opera Last Days of the Warlock, which got published through Apotheosis Studios. And we kept through that for a period of time. And then after some things, we decided that we were going to make Storytellers Forge, which is a studio that our focus is on writing campaigns for storytellers. And so that's what we started writing. Our first campaign book was the Black Ballad. We did the Dark Carnival. I'm still a novelist. I still write for other studios. But our point of pride is that we try to make Kickstarters and go create AAA products as a small indie studio and actually deliver them in like a year.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, that's a big deal to us. That we're really proud of.
So your
but
oh, I'm sorry.
go ahead.
Go ahead.
Yeah, go
I
ahead.
was gonna say your gateway to role playing was Vampire.
It was Vampire. I mean,
No. It was Wraith. You chose the hardest of the White Wolf games
Yes,
to run.
yes, I did.
What is this? You're a ghost. Have a good day.
Yeah, you're already dead. All right. Let me just put this in a framework. Sometimes I do my introduction of I'm the guy who writes sarcastic things about dead things because my novel series deals with dead things. I've written the official Crow RPG, which is about dead things. Universal Soldier, about dead things. Return of the Living Dead, still dealing with dead things. The Black Ballad, congratulations, you're dead. Now what?
Is it Rick Dead Hines now? Is that?
It's probably going to have to come to that. They call me Grim Reaper at my day job. So
this is going to go way off the path and possibly in the wrong direction. But all the talk of dead things. The other day, I was stuck at work, so I rewatched Necromantic. I don't know if you guys ever seen that movie.
I know. Yes, I do.
And my initial thought was, how would this play out in a role play game? Now I know who to call if I want somebody to write it out for me.
Look, one of my personal goals is to find a way to make a Repo the Genetic Opera RPG.
Yes,
all right.
Yes. I have ran that with Forged in the Dark.
Conversations will be had later.
Yes.
Look, Zydrate comes in a little glass vial. That's all I'm saying.
Oh my god, it was so fun.
Erik, for the people that haven't, maybe their first time watching the show, what's your quick little bio?
I was told I had to come on and apologize, but I'm not going to. So
no one said that.
I know, I'm kidding. No one said that. So no, in all seriousness, I'm another broadcaster, content creator. I do reviews. I have 2 of my own settings. I do a lot of game design, cartography, a little bit of everything, and a lot of back in the day competitive storytelling, and now paid storytelling for companies. Currently, if you live in Milwaukee, I'm in the middle of helping build a co-op with another wonderful group of people to get gaming back at the table and more people playing. And digitally, I try to make us better gamers through sarcasm and wit and not taking everything fucking seriously. So Rick and I kind of met doing this stuff at a con through a mutual friend, and here we are now doing a Kickstarter randomly, like it was going to be just a zine, and now it's more.
Yeah, it looks hella cool too. We definitely gonna touch base on that. But before we even do that, you mentioned Storyteller Forge. Could you explain a little more what exactly that is and the products that you have produced?
The whole
professional
goal,
liars go to write stories.
The whole goal, our studio actually got started when just before pre-COVID. I was running a program to teach people how to be storytellers, specifically kids ages 8 to 17 at local game stores, right? And it was the Storytellers Forge program, and we started off with 5 kids. We ended up with 200 by the end of a year because my biggest thing that I realized is I'm the goddamn forever GM. I would love to be able to sit and play in a game, and our bottleneck in this industry is a lack of storytellers, right? And so we 100% wanted to start writing full campaign books and narratives, and we wanted to make immersive storylines with music and novels and everything else that can be played with any game system. I really don't care what rule set we're using. I like to take the story and make it paired to the rules that they're paired up with, but settings can be mixed and matched all around. And just even over the years, I would shred all of the books that I would buy and like grab cool things from them for a compelling narrative. And so after the Red Opera and what had happened with all of that, we really wanted to prove that, hey, we were the creatives behind things. And so we launched the Black Ballad, and then we did the Dark Carnival, which is, be evil and be magnificent. We started a whole novel line series because I wanted to get, I grew up reading like the Vampire Clan novels, Legend of the Five Rings novels, all that stuff. I love getting lost in worlds. We're a bunch of writers. We're not influencers, so we can just do this one part. And so that's how we started. We're still really small. We're still new into the playing field, but we've got 8 published titles between novels and RPGs. And, like I said at the start, our biggest thing is we always try to make sure we deliver, and we always pair our projects up with music. And that one is kind of central to us. So we like
and
soundtracks to work
DMCA
with
too.
bands.
The music's
Yes.
playable on streams, which is fly as hell.
That's
I
hella
mean,
cool. I saw
We,
you guys had some actual plays too. I was visiting your website yesterday and today, and they were
Yes.
pretty cool as well.
The cast of Severed Threads, which actually season 3 of the Black Ballad is going to come out later this in a few weeks actually, and it's the final conclusion of the main campaign. But there are a bunch of opera singers and opera performers that we ended up working with, and found that like this. At some point, maybe we'll do an actual musical, like tied to D&D and stuff like that. Music is my muse as a writer, right? I put soundtracks together for everything, and I used to do concert lighting as an electrician in Chicago. And so the Venn diagram between metalheads and gamers is just a circle.
It's a skull. It's a skull.
It's a skull. Okay.
It's a skull. It has to be, right?
It's definitely connected, and that's freaking awesome. I love. I'm definitely gonna touch base on the incorporating music, because I think that was the first thing that caught my eye just doing my research. But you mentioned Black Ballad, so you have a Kickstarter coming out soon. Could you give us a start date? And you're going from 5e now to Shadowdark. What? Oh, except for the obvious that Shadowdark is kicking ass right now. Can you tell us why that decision happened?
Yeah, actually, I can. A lot of bourbon with a gentleman with a fantastic beard. That's
I don't know
on
who that would
camera.
have been.
So no, what we write storylines and settings, right? And our first project, of course, we're going to do when we're a brand new studio is like, hey, it's 5e. That was hot. That was the one spot that we could find, like the marketplace we need to even get started. And right in the middle of that, of course, the OGL controversy drops, right? We are post crowdfunded in the middle of writing, and we're like, what the hell are we going to do, right? And we had already started looking and experimenting at that point with how do we take this great setting and this campaign book, which is fundamentally a book designed that every single storyteller should have in their house just for what happens when you die, right? It's almost universal. And
if you're a good GM, it's universal.
Yeah, I mean, I've run it for Vampire, right? It's written for 5e, but I've run it for Vampire. And we took that, and we already had done a Pathfinder conversion. And I'm sitting there with Erik at a bar at one point, and he's talking about Shadowdark, right? Now, outside, I do so many conventions around the country. Nobody knew who Shadowdark was, but it was actually our number 2 poll on our first Kickstarter of this is the system we want this ported to. They wanted us to make novels, and they wanted Shadowdark. And so I hear this Shadowdark. I don't know anything about Shadowdark at the time. It's a brand new system. I was never
It's
really
freaking awesome.
like at the time, I was never really big into the OSR, and I'm like, okay, I can write narrative, but I have no idea what they're talking about on this. And Erik is like, I am all over Shadowdark, and I was like, great. How about we work together on this? Let's just do a little PDF free download conversion.
That didn't.
Erik, I will let you take it from there.
That's not how that fucking went. So the meeting is true, the bourbon is true, the Shadowdark part is true, but the little zine part is not what happened. So I knew Rick through a friend. I already knew about the Black Ballad. I'd followed what it was doing. I'm obviously a metalhead. I listened to a lot of it. I've done entire. I did Dragonlance based on Game of Thrones and heavy metal as a live show with 2 casts playing against each other. I'm in. So I read through Black Ballad. He sends it to me, and I was like, dude, there's no way this can be like a fucking 16-page conversion zine. The number one problem is this thing is made for like 18 to 20th level. I was like, oh man, even though it's scalable in 5e, how in the hell do you do this for Shadowdark? Like the setting is perfect, the power level's here, and I had to find a way to kind of merge it. And I was like, Rick, I got an idea. He's like, well, good, what is it? And we started talking, and what was it, 16-page zine, 15-page zine we wanted to do the first time around, something small,
Yep.
is now like 70 plus.
Yeah,
That's
it's like
awesome.
79 pages, and like it took a whole different life of its own.
Yeah, it decided it wasn't dead yet. So I started converting and finding the pieces that you could pull apart out of 5e and make it Shadowdark and make it feel like Shadowdark, from new classes to new ways to use your ancestries, giving them choices, and just to make sure that if you want to play Black Ballad and Shadowdark, it's feasible with just having this one book as kind of the liaison between. We made sure we took all the main profiles, the personas, the monsters, and brought them over. That was probably the most like challenging hurdle, was getting those 20th level monsters into high level campaign play, but still manageable. So we sat down and talked. I don't know what we did a year ago. I think we started the project.
We
I
did
think
it
it
a
was
year
like this
ago.
time last year. It
Yes.
might be like roughly January, February.
We were done with design, and then we took a second look at it, and we're like, okay, no, this thing needs to be its own thing. And that's when, right now, last year is when we said we need to have a story in here. We need to take this the full way. Like, let's make it its own thing in the Shadowdark style with our own unique art style. And then also make it a Shadowdark supplement that is just, hey, you don't need the Black Ballad. You can just use this. And then I get to be writing director on a lot of projects, right? Erik made me and held me to the fire on an adventure design for Shadowdark to try to write in that style and that format. And that was a lot of fun to learn, even as a creative. Like, it was almost like writing press and copy, right?
That's
To
awesome.
design like an adventure that fits in this, that's meant to be infinitely reusable, which I think is the coolest freaking thing. Like, every time your party dies in Shadowdark, you get to run this adventure for them, and it changes
Yeah, it's the supplement
every
you pull
time.
it. Yeah, you pull
I
it.
mean-
You're like, I killed the party. We're playing the game. Let's run this supplement. We know this is how we do it. And you come, for the audience, you come out different. You are not the same person you were when you went in.
Let's backtrack a little for our audience that may not know. Give us a little brief rundown on what exactly the Black Ballad is, because I know you guys are mentioning death and dying.
Here's
you
the
might
full.
be confusing some of our audience that may.
What's your elevator pitch,
know.
Rick?
All right, here's the elevator pitch of Give It Cons. So, the short version is you died, now what? The longer version is the actual Black Ballad campaign is the perfect adventure to run after you TPK your party. It's set in the afterlife, and we're going to make your players question whether resurrection magic should even be allowed to exist. It's a full 10-chapter campaign, and if you really think about it, in all fantasy settings, when resurrection magic happens to be on the table, right? Why does death matter? Why would a king ever need to change his behavior for 100 gold pieces? He can be brought back from the dead, right? And so we wrote the original Black Ballad with this idea of adding consequence and meaning back into death with evolution of a character. And so we're going to thrust the players into the center of a divine conflict that is going to permanently alter any homebrew campaign setting based off the outcome of the playthrough. For one game, 10 games, however many chronicles that storyteller wants to keep those rules in place, whatever the players choose in the Black Ballad is going to affect their story. We designed it to plug into anybody's homebrew setting because we were sick and tired of official narrative campaigns overwriting what house GMs are doing, because I think most people graduate into house GMs at some point. And the reason I never buy campaign books originally was because I was like, great, they're only written for this one level range. So we designed it for epic level. And in every encounter, we show you how to scale it down. But remember, our studio is about teaching storytellers how to run that epic, cool content by creating epic level encounters for every chapter and then scaling them down. You can have this like really awesome cinematic lens and compelling story no matter what level your party is.
That sounds
And
awesome.
so that's the pitch of the Black Ballad. Of course, what makes it really special is we worked with the heavy metal band Dia Morte, Riot Games,
Oh, nice.
and Symphony freaking X to make a full custom soundtrack for the entire damn thing.
Oh, I would love to sit down and play with the soundtrack playing simultaneously and just getting the full vibe, the full experience, the immersion. But that's will probably be super awesome.
I'm doing that at GaryCon if you're going to be at GaryCon.
So I guess this would be a question for Erik. So what were the mechanical adjustments made to make it more in line with Shadowdark?
So I guess I'll start with the sample of like showing Rick what the difference was between 5e writing and especially in adventure writing and in Shadowdark. Shadowdark is this weird blend of, I shouldn't say weird, perfect blend of OSR, that old school Renaissance, old school, whatever you want to put the R as, along with the idea of 5e clean, polished mechanics of your advantage and disadvantage. But their adventures are known to be hex crawls or city based. And they're really, really, really based on the fact that you are giving the tools to the GM with a story narrative, but letting them play in the sandbox with the tools you're giving them. So you're writing sections that are random tables. And instead of writing a paragraph to explain that random table, you just tell them, here's the random table for you to use for the replayable aspects of what's going on. It's a hard thing to explain, so I started chopping things out and showing Rick. And he's like, something clicked. He saw a table. I think it had to do with memories finally, or no, the people who had died in your previous campaigns. Yes. I think is what it was. And Rick's like, oh my God, I get it. You're taking all of the data in your head and you're slapping it into a table for them to use, but you're letting them build it. I'm like, yes, it's the personalization touch that you do as a GM. Mechanically, the problem was there's no 20th level in Shadowdark. It's 10. That's the cap. The cap is 10. And finding a way to reverse engineer that was difficult until I realized that really Shadowdark's numbers and playstyle, it's just D&D where every 2 levels is compressed into 1 level. And they kind of crush them down because there's less tiers of magic. Your difficulties are easier. They're static, but they're lower than the ones in D&D. And I quickly realized that this isn't going to be as hard as I wanted, but it's going to be a lot of converting and teaching.
I actually remember exactly when you came to me and were like, hey, can I add designer notes? Because this is a great book to showcase, like, here's how you do a conversion.
And I wanted it for spells, monsters, classes. I wanted to be able to teach somebody a little blurb on how to break it down. And it's okay that it's not exact. Like, look, we're all GMs in this room. We know the rules, but we break them constantly. It's okay to flex rules for the sake of the story. And when you're converting things backwards, that's all it's about. And Shadowdark doesn't care about your feelings or your friends. And it sure as shit doesn't care about your level. So sometimes you're fighting things that are way above because you don't get experience for fighting creatures in Shadowdark. Because there's game modes for that. Like if you want to make a hunt for a dragon, great, use that mode. And that brings us to like when I was looking at Shadowdark and looking at Black Ballad, how the hell do I convey playing in the afterlife? And we came up with 2 game modes. And that was the way we kind of encapsulated the love of Black Ballad, the actual like essence of it, into 2 game modes that you can play while you're playing Shadowdark.
I think my favorite one of those 2 were in the Black Ballad original. We place a lot of emphasis on what does it actually mean to have faith. Not a cleric, mind you, just actually like have faith in a deity, right? And so we have the conviction mode, and we have the godless mode, and like the watching Erik when he's like, so what's the purpose of this class? And I was like, it's this. And he was like, got it. That's a game mode of play in Shadowdark. Let me design this from scratch, right?
Yeah.
And so
He gutted it.
a lot of what is in Black Ballad Second Chances, Erik really built from the ground up, which is what kind of came around to this thing evolving into its own beast.
I think the
That
game
sounds
modes were that deciding factor where we're like, this can't just be a zine anymore. There's too much here.
Yep. Yeah. And then
Could
when
you-
we
could-
just
Could you explain what the two different game modes are?
So I'll say this. I don't want to say too much about them. Him and I are recording a series of videos that are going to come out during the ramp up to the Kickstarter. And we're going through the different sections of the book and how we built them. We're also going to go through the process of it and a bunch of other fun kind of like, we wanted a documentary. We're storytellers. And we wanted something that wasn't just a, look at our book. We want to be like, look, this is the blood and sweat and tears and equity that went into this as we were fucking doing it. Like how? I can tell you that memories are a big part of one of the game mode. That every time you die, you scrape memories from your character as a cost and in turn gain something back. That's the big one. And then how would you explain the other mode, Rick, without like giving too much away? Like memories and soul stitched, but how do you do the other one without like actually ruining the mode?
Let's just say it plays off the concept of what faith really means.
Yeah, that's a pretty good example. That's a pretty good representation of it. It's what faith means.
Yeah, what do you do when you're in your darkest hour?
And those things are all tacked on your characters. And the things I noticed when developing one of my own settings, which is Breachers for this, I was like, man, there's dead levels in Shadowdark. There's levels where all you get is hit points. So we kind of played with that aspect of let's fill those levels by giving people more things that they get as they're playing through in these modes.
And that also we found out actually helps with higher level content in Shadowdark, because when you were doing your play tests, you were like, these extra features really allow you to punch above your pay grade and deal with some truly epic divine level stuff.
Yeah, it definitely makes a difference because you're giving some abilities that are outside the norm of what a normal character class would get as a talent. For those who don't know, in Shadowdark, you roll 2d6, there's a chart, and that's your talent. So instead of picking and choosing what you get, it leans into that like randomness. I say this to everybody, you don't have to randomize. You can pick. If you want to pick and your party wants to do that, do it. But it does lean into the randomness. And that randomness like helps tell in a story through immersion instead of pre-writing it.
I'm super stoked now. I'm excited to see both modes. The godless mode sounds really intriguing. Like
it's wild.
You guys talked about incorporating music into this project, and you mentioned having a full orchestra soundtrack. Where the hell did that? First of all, the idea is ingenious. And where did that idea come from? And can you talk about how important having like stimuli like music in association with role-playing games, because I think that aspect doesn't get utilized enough.
We both write the music, don't we? Is that what we do?
Yeah, and I'm allowed to bullshit about my past a little bit, right? I'm freaking electrician in Chicago, right? I deal with used to do concert lighting and all of these shows, and even before the Black Ballad came to be, I literally had in my kitchen, and we were all drinking mead, like Evanescence, Diamorte, Cradle of Filth. I had all of these bands after a show in my kitchen, and they're talking about how the music industry is dying, right? And like how hard it is to get out there, the shifts that have happened in the industry, how Spotify never pays anybody like for streams and whatnot. And I was sitting there just like a bug on the wall, just drinking some like honey mead and like watching these guys talk. And I was like, you literally have the Budapest Scoring Symphonic Orchestra as your backtrack for your album. I could run an entire campaign to like your music easy. Just give me the stuff without lyrics, because you can't run to like hardcore metal music, right? And everybody in the room got eerily quiet, and everybody's eyes looked at me, and I go, shit, I'm writing a campaign book now. That was actually the genesis of the Red Opera. The Red Opera, Last Days of the Warlock, was the first book that we wrote with this, and we partnered up with Diamorte. And Diamorte is an ensemble cast, right? They have people from band members from all over. They're telling a story, right, of betrayal, love. It's an opera. That is it. They invite people on, and Drake Mephiesta is the head composer of their music, and near and dear friend over the years, because we've been through all the ups and downs of publishing together and the entire saga that we went through. And when it was all done with the Red Opera, and I was like, we had written the Red Opera based off of their first album. The Black Ballad, we wrote the storyline first, and then the album followed afterwards as a continuation. And so it was really freaking amazing. And the next thing you know, Drake is saying, "Hey, I want you to meet Michael James Romeo from Symphony X, Mike Pittman from Pentakill at Riot Games. They're going to be involved on this project. We want to do this whole thing and create all this lore in this established setting." And they're really starting to put a lot of storyline into their music, which I think, to me, I would just eat that lore up, right? And even for our second project as a studio, we had a book called The Dark Carnival, which is all about being evil and magnificent. And of course, I'm going to partner up with the band Vias for Villains. And when we got when we got to hire the band to do this, they lose their mind. First off, the band is getting supported directly.
Musicians are nerds.
They loved it, and then they started writing like lyrical tracks, theme songs. They ate it up, and that album isn't even released yet because the book doesn't ship until like April or May. But the Black Ballad, that orchestral soundtrack, and the Red Opera soundtracks kind of pair together, and they actually tell one full story of the Red Opera in the mortal world and the Black Ballad in the lands of the dead. And they brought in the full orchestra. We did all the mixing and mastering. It was actually really crazy to watch the music side unfold over a period of 10 years of creation in the background. And then once we started doing it, another project that I got to work with called Cthulhu Dreamt, started putting band music into their stuff. And I think there was, from a lot of people I know, we all realized that we all love music, and all of these band members, like Erik said, are nerds. And they would love to write music for this. And as storytellers, I spend hours making soundtracks for things. And sure, the soundtrack is an hour long, don't get me wrong. So I use it as the flagship entry into whatever we're doing or cinematic moments. And I still pepper it in with my own like action songs or, other parts as I need for character theme songs. And I invite the players at my table to give me their character theme songs, and I bake them into the soundtracks. So that's a whole part of this. And one of my goals as a studio head is at some point to be able to offer like a special reward that somebody gets to work with the band to make a soundtrack for something. Like that would be crazy cool.
I remember us talking about the Crow soundtrack being the best soundtrack to ever grace any form of movie of all time, and how we all build soundtracks for games we play. Like, it's just something that is the loudest yet quietest part of what makes a campaign good. Without it, it feels incomplete.
I hope that eventually you guys are actually starting a trend, because I could definitely see this become popular for not only your guys, but for most tabletop RPG companies to start accompanying soundtracks. And as a New York City inner city kid, I would love to see a game based on hardcore old school hip hop have a soundtrack.
Yes,
so that came up.
That's
one of our
paint, baby.
we have some upcoming projects in modern day, and you can't do modern day without incorporating some of those elements.
Absolutely.
Right? Like
the Detroit native here requires it.
Yes. Like, I may be a massive metal fan. At some point, I'm gonna have to throw country into a thing and some
sure.
I
hip
love
hop and
old
whatnot.
music. Yeah.
The theme songs are theme songs, man. They got to
Yeah.
fit the scene and the time.
Yep.
Uh, it like even with Dark Carnival, we did not go with the classic bardcore, right? We actually went with industrial music for the Dark Carnival, and the next there will be a follow up to the Black Ballad at some point in our future. A third campaign to complete the saga, and that music genre is going to be different too.
Chad is giving us genres and country pairing. They're saying country for Weird West, techno for cyberpunk.
Look,
Like
you
they're
just
giving us-
Tarantino. You just do the Tarantino thing. You find the worst music for the right job, and you
Right.
merge that shit together and make it work.
I actually love the mix and match, right?
Me too.
Techno for cyberpunk is what everybody expects. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm a child of the '90s, so I grew up listening to Crystal Method and Prodigy.
Yeah.
It just has KMFDM playing in the background the whole time.
Yes, I do. All right, it is literally on my vampire soundtrack. All right, just not gonna lie about that. But the finding music from another genre and
It's so
plugging
fun,
it into something is because then it makes you realize the music. It doesn't fade into the background.
Well, I'll never forget Westworld when Westworld started doing all their piano covers of all the fucking crazy songs. And you're listening to it in Westworld, and you're like, "Is that
Yes.
what I think it is?" So fun.
Hey, I'm running my High Noon at Midnight game on the server, and I've been using Johnny Cash and Kenny Loggins, and it's been cracking.
Why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
When I ran for your guys' last con, I did all Dolly Parton music, and it was all shitty covers.
So here's actually something I just realized because Erik mentioned this earlier. When he was like, "Hey, wait, can streamers use this music?" And I was like, "Yeah, because we actually get to work with the bands and the record labels to have them greenlit and white strike the copywriting so it can be used because the band just wants their music out there." Right.
Oh, that's a great point. I didn't even think about that.
Like we actually in this process, one of the reasons we're going to crowdfunding is we pay the musicians, we pay the writers and the band and everybody else. Like they get something for this, and that is intentional because it's like I know what it's like to be creative, I know what it's like to be freelance, and I know what it's like to speak into the noise of the void of the internet and be like,
well, so like
man.
I was the newest person on Storyteller Forge for this project, and the coolest thing to see was obviously they're like, well, we don't know, this guy could be absolute shit because they don't know. That's every project ever. And I got to come into the project, and someone was doing graphic design, and they sent me a file, and I did some edits and sent it back. And I realized that's the guy who's from the fucking band, and I get to work like it's so tight knit. Like you realize that when you are doing this kind of stuff as artists, you wear every hat until you find somebody else that hat fits better, and you just get to go through and work together. And it's really, I don't know, it reminds me of the only good moments in college, in an art college, that I enjoyed, which is when I got to work with a group of people. We all made something better than we did by ourselves. And that shit doesn't happen often. And honestly, in this industry, we see it a lot in tabletop. But I was working in video games. I was a part of so many projects that just blew apart at the seams because of egos clashing, problems happening. This was what, Rick? 8 people? 6 people? How many in total is it?
So there's me and you, which were in our own little bubble for a long time.
What year?
Until we had to go into production. And then all of a sudden, we got to face the wrath of editorial.
Hold on a second. Erik, screw you, dude. You asking my fucking questions ahead of time. You're not interviewing, dude.
Hey, look at me. I'm taking your job.
He ain't apologizing. Notice the lack of an apology from Erik in this.
He knows I've done this before.
Hold on, I want to say something, Rick, because this is very important. You skim through something that I think is extremely important, and let me make sure I get this correct. You said if you back the Kickstarter and you get the music file, you could use it commercially on streams without any issue.
Yes,
that's very, very important. I think that we should
fucking
highlight.
wild. Well,
Right, 'cause-
here, wait, we got one more. We got one better than that. Ready? If you back the Kickstarter, as soon as backer kit closes, PDF goes out. We're done.
Yeah, the project's done.
We're
It's our
done.
first project as a small indie studio that we've been able to take soup to nuts. We're going to crowdfunding for the print run.
Just to print it. To print it and make some dope ass river coins.
Yeah.
That's it. And today we got to see, for us as a team, we got to see the product in hand. The company printing it for us, making the actual token, sent us a file, and we got to see actual versions. And I know when Rick and I were talking before we ever worked together, I believe in this wholeheartedly. I believe that Free League has shown time and time again how to do Kickstarters. And if you aren't willing to follow someone who leads like that, you're fucking up already. These guys deliver within 6 months their PDFs almost every time. And we're producing one PDF. One.
Speaking of Kickstarters, are there any stretch goals, and what do the pledge level? I know you probably can't fully get into this.
None. There's none.
I actually wanted to try this, and this one is an experiment on my end.
Mhm.
There's no stretch goals.
Zero. None.
And I kind of wanted to do this intentionally. I saw at one point when I was working at Geek and Sundry on Press, I saw one company do a no stretch goals Kickstarter, because stretch goals are kind of a trap creatively where you're constantly adding more into the book and it just delays the project coming out.
And shipping.
Yeah, we wanted to just do, there's add-ons, there's some deluxe merch and things that you can only get on the Kickstarter. Sure, absolutely. But everything on the project, everything you find is already substantially done. And so the reason we're not doing stretch goals is because we want to deliver within PDF goes out as soon as backer click closes. We want to be able to be like, no, this thing is done. We have our print run. We're waiting for manufacturing. We want to get the book to you guys so you can start playing with it. And sure, I understand that some projects benefit better from stretch goals, but this is one that I wanted to try. Hey, let's not do stretch goals. Let's not add extra burden and more delays to the project, even if they're for a creative element, because if the Kickstarter does really well, we're just gonna start we already know what we're making. We're making a series of Shadowdark adventures.
Yeah.
Right? Like they're already being written. And really, like, it's kind of like a hidden unspoken stretch goal. We're just not going to put it out there. And
could you give us a ballpark figure what the pledge levels are going to look like?
Yeah,
We don't even need a ballpark. We have it.
yeah, we
Go ahead,
have
Rick. Give them the price.
the first one is a wait a minute, what's the price? I now all of a sudden have camera freeze.
Don't you can't do this, whiskey.
That ain't the whiskey. I know my second tier. My base tier, I actually just completely mind blanked on. 1 second.
Here, I'll fill while you're doing this. I'm gonna fill. So we have two.
$30.
Damn, you already did it.
Gotcha.
$30.
$30 is the first tier. Oh my god, that is bright. $30 is the first tier, and that is the deluxe edition of Shadowdark with 2 crossway coins because you got to pay the toll for the ferryman, the full soundtrack, the PDF, everything in the Shadowdark supplement that you want. So for $30, you get an entire book, 2 like badass custom like setting coins, a full soundtrack, the PDF, and the entire book. The $75 tier is a novel by Brian Fitzpatrick called To Slay a God, set within the Black Ballad. And the idea behind this is sometimes if you have to kill a god, you got to kill yourself to get the job done.
I still want to do the audio reading for that book.
We are going to make the audios at some point. But you get a novel, you get the Black Ballad Second Chances, and you get a custom Purgatory adventure journal that we're redoing from scratch for this campaign. And that is a player journal for everybody to chronicle their memories, their character sheets, and it has a whole short story that's all custom illustrated about the ruler of the realm, actually, and her personal story before it becomes your character's journal. More importantly, that book comes with your last will and testament, so when you die at the table, you legally know who's allowed to loot your corpse.
Nice. You can count me for the 75. Eric knows I have a problem. I back everything I back everything at the highest level. So count my 75 already.
Talking to one of my other friends in New York, and he's like, "Yo, man, I want to back. I don't have any room for product in my house anymore." I was like, "Bitch, you got a pillow? Put it under your pillow."
Slip it under the mattress. But yeah, that's what you get. And two of them, and there's add-ons, and we're gonna make some like we got creatures. We got you could get the actual Black Ballad campaign book, because one thing I would say is that the difference between these two books is the storyline of the Black Ballad. If you want to get into Epic God Wars, we already wrote that. It's a 300-page book, right? That is not this. This is.
I'm gonna say it OSR. This is a splat book. This is a tool book. This is a thing to fill the gap between 5e going to Shadowdark when you die and you want to play Shadowdark with Black Ballad. This is your splat. I've always loved that term. Some people hate it, but this is that supplemental that you need to do the thing you want to do.
Neither one of your guys are strangers to crowdfunding or game development. If you could give any advice to someone wanting to try their hand in game development or starting a crowdfund project, what would it be?
I can't wait to do our series on this. I cannot wait.
Yeah, my first one would be, honestly, as I get this a lot as a writing director and as a publisher. This is a valid question. Finish your manuscript. Right? Your first project, nobody knows anything about you. You may not necessarily have the money for an art budget, right? You may not have what it costs to hire all of the freelance artists to make the entire book and do layout. But you should finish your draft completely before you move to the next stage. It's the same as an author. This comes from me as a book writer. I got 3 novels out now. I got to start writing my 4th. I can't go to a publisher with an incomplete manuscript. That stuff's already got to be through dev editing. It's got to be soup to nuts done, because nobody can take a risk on you or go to crowdfunding on the promise that somebody else is going to finish this. And it also relieves so much stress because there's so many other little things in the production. I could talk for hours on the production of TTRPG books because there's so much unseen work that goes into this stuff behind the scenes. Even this right here, what we're doing, all your tech setup, the streams, the layouts, everything that goes into this, you got to be done substantially with the core idea.
I have 2, and this is one that I was like preaching to Rick out of the gate. Don't do a Kickstarter and think that you can start your media and press the month of. You better be outreaching 90 days before, easily 90, depending on your goal that you want, maybe even more. The reason I did say that is twofold. One, respect for all the people who are willing to do media for you and help you, like Cypher having us on, people doing blog entries. You don't know what their timeline looks like. And if you think you just get to walk up and be like, I want to do this, and they're like, oh yeah, next week, that's not how this shit goes. You need to give the time of day, and then take the time to put together a press kit, something that you can send over that has everything in it they can need. One, it's less work for you in the long haul, and you need it anyway. And when you make it, it allows you to speak more eloquently about your product. And the second thing I would say to do, more than anything else, and this is hard, learn to take constructive criticism. If it's destructive, fuck that person. But if it's constructive criticism, they're saying it because it's something they like. If your audience doesn't like something that you're doing as a person producing content, they may not be your audience, or maybe you're just fucking wrong. And that stuff happens all the time. And Rick and I have fought over countless things. Never to the point of like not being friends, but we've definitely argued points on what's going on this project and others that we are working on. I mean, the last project we were doing didn't turn out, and we went to bat over things in that. Be ready to like be civil and share a beer afterwards, but constructive criticism is the only way you get better at this, especially Kickstarters. Fuck me, dude. They change every single week.
Have you got, because someone had chat mentioned this, but did you look into back a kit opposed to Kickstarter? Why did you choose Kickstarter? Just
actually, I can talk about this one. So
then we fought about this too.
This is one of those things. Remember, I'll just say it. There was a project that I had first written called the Red Opera. That was originally funded on Kickstarters underneath another publisher. You can go search that up and look at it and
Can I
find what
just
you want
say
with
it?
it.
If you can't, can I say it? I'm really
I
good at
can't.
this.
I'm not
I
allowed
can
to.
say it. I can say it. He had to work with two people who are absolutely should not be in the industry anymore. You know who they are. They are both garbage humans now, and I don't care if they think they're being better now. Until you prove you're better, you're still garbage to me. So you know who you are,
I think
and
I
that's how
know
it
what
is.
you're talking about.
So that was our book.
Eric, was that the person that wanted me to fill out a questionnaire for an
Yes,
interview?
fucking
That was,
yes, it is. Yes, yes,
okay.
it is. Yes.
Oh yeah,
Um,
that's a piece of
I can
shit
see
human
you.
being.
You better shake my hand and apologize, and then you can get to Rick afterwards.
So we started our studio off on BackerKit, actually. The Black Ballad, the Dark Carnival, and our novels were all crowdfunded on BackerKit. We actually love BackerKit. It was a slick program. But the Black Ballad Second Chances is a precursor project to the Red Opera Reforged, which we are going to do at a later point. And I can think of no better way to bring a project home back into house with its original creators by launching on the platform that it was first funded on. And in order to do
makes
that,
perfect
I
sense.
have to establish a presence on Kickstarter.
That makes perfect sense.
I mean, we talked about doing
this-
other ones, but this is just the
this
right
is-
thing.
This is a selfish question because we're Cypher Unlimited. But do you plan on bringing any other settings or projects you produced in the past to other game systems?
Yes, that's actually the entire goal of our studio is I want to write campaigns for other game systems. I want to take our campaign books and our storylines and actually pivot them to other game systems like Cypher, which I do happen to know. So I have your book upstairs literally on my coffee table. So yes, there is a desire there, and our job and what we want to be known as a Storytellers Forge is a design house to write narrative campaigns for other game companies.
Yeah.
Writing storylines and campaigns is the part that we excel at. And so many other game studios, I think there's a lot of focus on the rules design, the games, the elements that are there, but not necessarily the campaigns that storytellers are playing and convincing STs to pick up the game and run it with a cool plot hook. So that's what we want to do as a studio.
Oh yeah, I mean, I could definitely see, especially. I feel like you guys are coming from a unique point of view and a unique combination of this fusion of music to provide an atmosphere and theme, a hell of a cool story, and for you to branch out into multiple settings and not just Cypher. Everybody knows I'm a Cypher guy,
Hey.
but just touching all different, PBTA games, all different styles of games. I think you can really find a niche, and
we're
it'll be
doing
hella cool.
we are doing PBTA. We're going to have Black Ballad in Daggerheart at some point. We already have Pathfinder, D&D. Shadowdark is its own expansion. And what we're learning, thanks to the Shadowdark project, is that it's almost better to go full in on the system and design something unique for the system than it is to just make, here's a little conversion book, right?
I mean, the
Kinda
belief
go
is
all
simple,
in.
though. You can't take a system and slap any setting on it, because if that setting is just thrown over top of something, it's gonna play like shit. You have to file it and build it and make it work for that setting. Like, if I make something for Cypher system, I'm going to build around the concept of how you build a character. I'm going to build around the idea of ciphers as items and what to do with them. You're going to build around the idea of playing with your pools to spend points to do things. We're not talking about the new Cypher yet. Well, it's a different conversation. But the whole goal is to build your setting and build the system together, not just lay it on top. We've watched that happen with the OGL for years. And AEG made some of the worst products ever during 3.5 era. They had shit with backstab that was a D12. Guerrilla warfare. Guys, you have to make it work. And the story needs to match the system, and the system needs to match the story. So, yeah, man, it matters. And I'm adamant about it because it pisses me off. when I see shit get slapped on something that's garbage, when it could have been really good with a little bit of work.
Is there anything else you want to tell our audience about Black Ballad or any other future projects you guys are working on for Storyteller Forge? And I have one or two audience questions I'm gonna ask after this.
Well, there's some we can't talk about.
Right.
We can't talk about Fight Club yet.
Can't talk about Fight Club.
Can't talk about Fight Club with fangs. We can't do that yet. What else was there? What else should we talk about, Rick?
So, well, I mean, this year for us, it really is all about Black Ballad and Red Opera. We have some other things in the works about Modern Gods, some Blades in the Dark type stuff, a few other storylines are going to be done. We are definitely going in hard on Shadowdark, and anybody from the Storytellers Forge Discord that is familiar with the Black Ballad that's watching this, we are going to write the origins of Majin. And that is a whole thing for the people that have read the novels and or our worlds and are coming from that part. And
do I get to make a cult of Majin?
Yes, at some point. The other thing we're doing that is more personal to me is I write a sarcastic urban fantasy apocalypse series about the end of the world called The Seventh Age. It's about bringing myth and magic back into this world. Dread is my favorite game system. I love the Jenga Tower, the sit-down one-shot. We're going to make a book that is 7 nights of one-shot horror stories that are disconnected, but still connected, meant to just be short-form play. You sit it down, you play with what happens when the White House gets access to demonic magic. And,
I want that. I want that now. I'm going to use Dread fan also. Horror is my jam. So
yes, that is
party, my friend.
That it's based off of my novel series, and I'm like, hey, this is what, when I get a chance to have friends over with booze at my house, and they're like, hey, let's play a game, and it's a one-shot pickup. I'm running 10 Candles or Dread, and I'm like, screw it, let's make this an actual thing. And so that's what we're doing with that. We are working on some other game systems and some other studio work from a narrative campaign perspective, and I can't quite talk about those just yet.
Hey Rick, could somebody share an up-to-date link to your Discord in our chat, because our chat is saying that the current link we have is expired. As someone who runs Discord, we do that all the time. And if there's a couple people that want to join your Discord, so somebody could post a current link.
I got that. I'm dropping it in your chat for us right here. Yeah. There you go.
So what's our? Oh, it looks like Courtney's got us. Thank you, Court. What's your questions from the audience? I love Q&A. Q&A is my favorite.
All right, the question I got from the audience, I had two. One said, "Ask Rick about paying artists." It was more like a statement than a question.
That was a statement.
But
that's a story.
Is there stories associated with paying artists?
I think that's relative to the our origin as a studio, as it were. But one thing that's actually near and dear to my heart is that as a studio, we help and support all of our artists and local communities. We never use AI. That is a big thing with us. Every artist and everybody who works on our projects, I usually have to tackle them to pay their invoices before they even submit them. Erik is actually testament to that, because I was straight up hitting them for payment information you know, when we first started working. I have done the freelancer shuffle. I have worked for so many other studios. I know what the pain is like. And it turns out, if you budget your projects appropriately and you actually move at a slower pace to grow as needed, you can make sure that everybody is paid before the project's even going to crowdfunding. And that's a wonderful thing to be able to be like, hey, guess what? You don't have to wait a year and a half to get a payment for a project.
It just takes effort and time. And the time is the thing people try to blow by all the time, and everything, and all Kickstarters and all projects and all everything. And that's how mistakes are made half the fucking time. You asked earlier about things to do. I would remind everybody, no one knows your timeline unless you say it. So if you are developing a product or a project, just say, I'm working on it. And then don't promise a date. just start doing it until you're almost done. At 80% mark, that's that safe threshold to start sharing stuff, because that's usually when you're onboarding final people, getting things ready. But just don't. Just don't do it. No one knows your timeline but you and the team. That's it.
Our buddy Starheart Dragon asks, so ever thought about doing a living campaign or a guided campaign?
Oh, yes.
Yes, actually, we are beta testing right now on our server a play-by-post campaign for the Black Ballad or a living campaign to go off of it. And I'll leave it up to Eric. We are going to do something with second chances that is ridiculously cool. That's going to feed into some of the other adventures.
There's three things. One, yes, I love living community play. I love communal play in general, where everyone can hop in and hop out. We're busy. I get that. I think it's great. Cypher, I'm looking at you. I'm still waiting for your organized play. So anyway, I really want to have something like that in the future. I do it currently for My Setting Breachers, which is an add-on in this. But for the Kickstarter, we are doing a little bit of a fun ad piece that's going to be starting in February. And we are asking the public to tell us their favorite death in a game, their favorite NPC, their favorite player character, whatever, a GM, player, doesn't matter. Your favorite death. We want to know how you died, how they died. We're going to pick our favorites, and they're going to get turned into characters in the upcoming adventure that we're building. So we want to do this because we want to hear it. And I've been to so many conventions. Rick and I have done the convention circuit in a way that I don't think most people have. And there's two things that are told. They tell you about your character, or they tell you how they died. And we only want to hear the second one. We want to know.
I'll tell you mine. I had a low level in a superheroes Heroes Unlimited campaign. It was, like Batman level. He got hit by a subway train. Best death ever.
So does he Beetlejuice? Does he just have the name, the number from the subway car on his face?
I think the way my brother described it was he got disintegrated upon impact, but either way, it was great.
Invincible. That's right. That is right. So we're doing this coming up. But I think we both enjoy, as people who used to LARP, we love community play. That is our jam.
I used to be a massive, you mentioned AEG earlier. I used to be a huge Legend of the Five Rings player, and what got me into the card game was the living campaign and the small fictions. So yes.
Don't let them make OGL books.
Yes, exactly. Don't sell the rights to Wizards, right?
Don't do that.
We will get there in time, and that is something we're actively testing right now.
It is every drunk conversation at every con we go to. I guarantee community play gets part up.
If you need help organizing that, Erik will tell you I'm pretty good at organizing communities.
This is his job. This went from 0 to hero in a couple of years. What else you got?
But yeah, all right. So this is Erik. You've done this before, but Rick never has. This is our world famous rapid fire questions.
Oh no,
Rick! This is where we dig deep into your soul. We pull out your essence. We stretch it on the table for the whole world to see. Are you famous for the? Are you ready for the world famous rapid fire questions?
Look, my blood is coffee. I'm terrified of spiders, and yes, I like Lords of Acid. Okay?
Hey, there's a tarantula in here. Does that help you? There's a tarantula in here.
Yeah, no, that doesn't help me. Actually, you should burn your house down right now.
Question number 1: player or GM?
I'm the forever GM.
GM.
Pull punches or TPK?
I write books about TPKs, and I started off with Wraith. Death is just the beginning.
TPKs, they used to be pull punches, then I realized I cared way less.
TPK has a whole different meaning for you guys, because that's like an entirely different, another session just based.
Welcome to the Black Ballad. Dead.
Online or in-person gaming?
In person. I cannot for the life of me play online. That is one of the things, one of the reasons I stopped and avoided doing the online streaming and whatnot.
Rick,
is when I had to do storytelling for kids for the ST Forge program, and we were in the middle of COVID, I found that I hated online storytelling.
Yeah.
Oh, we're gonna have to do something about that, Rick.
You're gonna have to fight, bro.
Yeah,
It's not a fight. It's
The
that I'm
wave of the
lacking tools.
future.
I need music and candlelight and other things, and I didn't have the tools or the
You
tech
can
set
still
to
do
figure
that.
out.
You send everyone a candle through Amazon. You light some fucking candles. You turn the music on. Look, I'm arguing this point. I used to love in person. Now I run more games online. It's easier to prep. It's more immersive for the people at home. And I don't have to fucking clean up after you.
Send everybody a send everybody a candle from
Look,
Amazon.
Yeah, that's what I said.
I will
Yes.
admit this. I did find a way to run 10 candles online.
Easily.
so-
Easily. But I like in person for conventions, but at home I like online play. I really have grown to enjoy it. I love camaraderie. I'm a fucking let's go to the bar and get a beer person.
Announce the difficulty number or keep it a secret.
Oh.
Ooh. Okay, rapid fire. That one's a tough one.
This is easy. I won't give it to you until you hit it.
I think that
That's the same thing Ike Turner said.
you know what? I keep it really, really hidden behind the screen until it's that like right moment, I think, to reveal it. And every time I reveal the TN number and I have to roll a dice as an ST, that is guaranteed when I'm gonna botch.
For all you people who don't know what that is, it's target number and storyteller.
Yeah.
Rick likes to use letters that no one knows.
Yes, yes, I do.
Salty or sweet snacks at the gaming table?
Salty.
Salty.
Me too. I'm a salty guy.
But I
But
like sweets with coffee, and that's about it. Not even always.
I won't turn down a good chocolate chip cookie, but I'm usually a salty guy.
True. But
Are-
peanut butter pretzels. Oh God, like
Oh.
I'm a spice fanatic. I like to cry when I eat.
so you feel you're alive.
RP or combat?
RP.
We actually did a whole episode on do you actually need combat in role playing games? But that's another story.
I
need
can
drama, not combat.
Yes, I can run an entire Reservoir Dogs RP where nobody rolls a single damn dice and everybody's going to walk away feeling like they just changed the goddamn world.
Yep. Guns drawn, someone dies, let's keep going.
PDFs or physical books?
Lately PDFs, just because they're easier to search.
Both.
Can't do that as one or the other. Nope, you got to pick one.
Oh,
Rick.
no, fine.
Nope,
Okay,
nope,
fine,
nope,
fine.
You got
As
to pick one.
PDFs, as a storyteller now.
There we go. Yep, there we
Because
go.
I will read my physical book for mood and setting, but when I'm running game, I got like 6 PDFs up. Even when I'm running my house game.
Just Rick with a glass of whiskey and candles around him, reading by himself. That's what I'm hearing. Sounds like an OnlyFans.
Yes, I actually would do the vanilla type pipe tobacco from Bristol Renaissance Fair and sit there and be like, you know what? I'm just going to sit here with my pipe and scroll through a spell book of how
Move
I'm
on
going to
before
murder
this
my
gets
players.
filthy. Moves. Next one, Spigs, before he goes too deep down the rabbit hole.
Eric, I can change my voice if needed.
I know, I can too.
Pen and paper notes or digital notes?
Digital, please, God.
See, I'm both, but digital notes. No, it's physical still. It's physical, but I use Rocketbook to scan them in. The reason is very simple for physical. It's quicker to write and change things on an angle for someone to remember than it is to write them. And it is proven that you memorize things that are written.
Now, I'm just talking.
I just need a beer napkin and a Sharpie.
So I run a lot of games where player versus player happens at the table, right? Vampire, storyteller, riffs, whatever, different factions. I want, if somebody's gonna backstab somebody else at the table, shoot me a damn text message. Because when you hand me that secret Post-it note, everybody knows.
Yeah, that's a different thing. That's not notes. That's a tool to facilitate secrets.
Okay.
Here's the last question, guys. Pre-written adventures or original content?
Or designers, original content.
Yeah. We write campaign books.
Yeah. We write it so other people can enjoy them.
Yeah. Take it, rip it, shred it, use it.
Yeah. File the serial numbers off. You do what you want with it.
I say this joke every time. We've interviewed over 40 different game designers on this channel, and only one person has said pre-written adventures. And that's why you guys are creators, because none of you guys know how to promote and advertise. The correct answer for a designer should
I
be
know it is.
pre-written adventures, because that's what you're trying to sell.
This isn't an adventure. It is a splat book. Thank you very much.
With just a massive adventure that was already
Shut the
written
fuck
that
up,
you
Rick.
can't grab.
Shut the fuck up, Rick.
That's why all you guys need to hire marketing managers.
Look, man, I work in marketing. It feels like homework when I have to run pre-written, man. I feel like I'm back at school.
Well, it's,
Yeah, I'm just busting chops.
guess what happened is we decided we know this game. So I was like, wait, I buy homebrew stuff or I do my homebrew. So I'm going to write the campaign books.
Hold
to
on, Rick.
plug
This
into
is
the
very
house GM.
simple. Hey, Anthony, when's the last time you ran something pre-written to close the show out, buddy?
Ooh.
Never. Just say it.
No. CypherCon.
No, you didn't. No, you did not. Even if you do it, you read the title and the names of people and run it. Don't
Man,
fucking lie to me.
I'm not, but I'm also not producing content and selling it. I'm just interviewing people that produce content and selling it. So from a marketing perspective, the correct answer should be pre-written adventures, because you want people to buy your adventure. But yeah,
people like
it
order the Amber
it
Diet.
doesn't quite work that way. You know, if you
did.
wait, here's the answer to that. If you want a pre-written with no choice, I have some fantastic novels that you could read. They're called The
Oh
Seventh
my
Age,
God.
Dawn, Decay, The End. Novels are that. Otherwise,
I want
Homebrew
choose your own
and rip it
adventure
apart.
novels from you, Rick. If you don't do a choose your own adventure novel before you die, I'll be very disappointed.
oh, that'll be awesome.
never let our other co-founder hear you say that, because
Don't worry,
Pat
I'll say it
Edward
when we're in a
is-
meeting. It'll fucking happen.
Well, you guys survived the rapid fire questions. You guys were fantastic. Thank you so much. That was awesome. Anything else? Where can you guys be found on social media? Could you give us a day that when's the due date for your Kickstarter project? If you,
March
17th.
March 17th, we go live.
March 17th. March 17th.
Otherwise, you
what-
can follow us at the links. You can go to ST Forge Studios just about on any platform. You can go to our Discord, which the link has been dropped, and our website is also a good spot that has all our social links. So you can go to the TikToks and all the other parts.
oh,
And
so you guys-
mine's my name everywhere. Eric Frankhouse everywhere. It's super easy.
the Kickstarter's dropping on St. Patty's Day.
Sure fucking is.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like that was
Yo.
slightly intentional.
I mean, it is
But-
intentional, and like people are gonna die that day, so they need a place to go.
Perfect day to celebrate once you guys get fully funded on the same day. You're already
That'd be
drinking.
great.
So, you know.
I'll be in Chicago for it. It'll be fun.
Yo, thank you so much, Rick. Thank you so much, Eric. You know, we always want to highlight and promote cool storytellers, cool creatives, and what, you know, Storyteller Forge, Black Ballad, Second Chances, this all sounds awesome. I'm super excited to support you guys, and we're super excited, more importantly, to support cool people. And the both of you are very cool people, and we, you know, everybody on the CU, on the server, I'm gonna help promote you guys as best as I can, because I want good things to happen to good people.
And vice versa. And if you're ever at a convention up in Boston area or in the New York, let me know, because chances are I'm probably also there.
Yeah, we'll definitely see each other. I'm around all the time.
He hopefully will be at Gamehole Con this year, right?
No, I'm definitely going to Game Code Con, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to Gen Con as well. I promise you, Eric, I'll be at Game Code Con for sure.
I will not
going
be at Gamehole Con this year.
I will be. If you're gonna go to Gary Con, I'll be there, and Gen Con, we should talk.
Oh, definitely.
Gen Con, I will find you at then.
Of course. Whiskey it up,
If you-
baby.
If you like us and you like what we do, join the Cypher Unlimited Discord server for all things Monty Cook games. We have the largest fan-run Discord for everything MCG, but if Discord's not for you, join our Facebook group. Not as big as our Discord, but still great conversations being had there daily. Give us a sub here on Twitch, or go to our YouTube channel and like, share, and subscribe there. We're still trying to build both platforms up, and any help you could give us in that direction would be greatly appreciated. Our videos are always free, but if you want to support us financially in any way, you could give us a little donation on Ko-fi, or go to our online store and pick up some cool Cypher Unlimited merch. Normally I have something on, but I don't have anything on today. And last but not least, we love you guys.
Yep, thank you guys so much for coming and watching, chatting with us. Thank you, Eric and Rick, for coming on, talking about your project. It sounds very exciting. You guys probably know, or at least Eric and Anthony know, I'm a fan of like death-heavy elements and things in my game, so I'm definitely excited to see more about this. So yeah, definitely exciting stuff. And just as another quick reminder, if you haven't already, go check out the Cypher Unlimited Discord to check out Numenera Day. That's coming on Thursday in 2 days. You can sign up to play a game. There are several seats still available, and awesome games being run by awesome GMs. And with that being said, from us at the CU, we will see you later. Peace.